Hello there, everybody. Welcome to Awesome Acknowledged. My name is Jake Gatz Show. This is the fifth show. Today's guest is someone whom I've had the honor of playing many basketball games with and
Yes, sir.
attending basketball games with, and also pretty much being dunked on by many great games at 21. He's such a cool person. Everyone, please welcome the legendary Jake Gatziolis. Thank you so much, Jake, for being on the show. How's it going today?
Spang, thanks for having me on, man. Really appreciate it. Great to see you, man.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
doing great. How you doing?
Of course, I'm doing great too. For some background, Jake currently runs a podcast by the name of the Jake Gatz Show. This podcast covers topics in the world of sports, music, food, and it can be currently found on iTunes. Some specific topics that they've discussed on the show include the World Cup, the NBA Finals, Stanley Cup, the NBA Draft. There's so many great sports events, so awesome. Definitely check it out. My first question for you, Jake, is what was the inspiration for creating this show?
Inspiration, man. It was so I'm working that 9 to 5 life. So I've been listening to a lot of podcasts over the past couple weeks, and then one day I decided, I'm just gonna start my own. Speak my own thoughts for a change. So yeah, it just came about. I had a microphone, and just put it all together.
Now, a particular aspect of your podcast I really like and I wanted to comment on is the logo. I love that logo, the silhouette,
Yeah.
the yellow font with the blue background. So how did you decide on that particular logo?
The logo, well, it's pretty easy for me to decide. It's really the only thing that I know how to do in Photoshop is make silhouettes, like black out pictures. So I just found like an old picture of myself from Instagram, and then the color way. It was just really the only thing that kind of fit. That I really liked the yellow on the blue. I thought it really stood out, and it just kind of went with everything else. And yeah, that was about it.
Yeah, I love the basketball on your foot. It really kind of just really ties in that sports focus so
Yeah.
much. It's really cool. And something else.
Little fun fact. Sorry, a little fun fact for you, man. That the original picture is taken on the floor of the Allstate Arena.
I was just
So
about to ask. Okay, good. I am glad to know that. Awesome. Was that? Do you know where they're playing against in that picture?
that one, no, I'm not sure. It was like long after everyone was gone. Just walked out on there. It
What
was
was
after a game.
I kind of just a quick off-topic question, not off-topic, but topic to what we were talking about. What was one of your favorite DePaul games you've attended? Out of all the games, do you remember any particular?
Oh man, there was so many to be a part of. There was one. I believe it was my junior year. They were playing against Providence. The Providence was number 11 at the time. They had Chris Dunn. They had a couple good guys, and they came into our house and we beat them by like 5. I think it was a really close game. Really fun to be a part of.
Oh, that I
Being on
think
the side, yeah, being on the sidelines, watch that game. It was a good one.
that was like DePaul's first top 25 win. I think in a couple seasons, or at least that season,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah,
I
for
remember that
sure.
game. That was
Well,
so awesome.
that was really exciting. It was good to be a part. Good upset.
DePaul, they're going to the tourney one of these upcoming years. It's got to happen.
Hey, Chicago basketball is on its way up, and I feel like DePaul's next. DePaul's got the come up.
Exactly, and they got the Wintrust Arena. Have you been out there yet?
Yeah, it's a real nice place that they got there, the Winchester Arena. Beautiful arena, brand new.
Now, kind of going back into about the podcast. In the intro of your podcast, the words "no set in stone script, let's ride the wave" are said, and I really think that's just perfectly said and perfectly captured that like feeling when you're among friends, you're just talking, and it's really a good way to kind of describe that podcast vibe. And I have to say your podcast definitely gives off that vibe. It's kind of this
Yeah.
great kind of just friends talking about awesome topics. Can you talk a little bit more about that philosophy?
Yeah, just when I started out, I didn't want to take it too seriously. I just want to have fun with it, so just kind of go speak my mind on whatever's like going on throughout the day. And I just added recently, so it's myself on the podcast, and then my buddies Scotty Furlong and Matt Villegas. They're my co-hosts. So they just started, they just joined the show. So it's just really cool just to just chat it up for a little while.
And the show now it's every Thursday, right? Or every
We do it 2 times a week, so it's Tuesday and Thursdays typically is when we release it.
Awesome. That's you guys have such a great kind of back and forth with one another. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's fun.
And a particular topic discussed on your show in your first episode that released on June 12th, I believe, was the NBA Finals. And I really liked your points. You kind of talked about a little bit, but I want to talk a little bit more.
Yeah.
You brought up if the Cavs still had a healthy Derrick Rose, Dwayne Wade, and Isaiah Thomas. And it really does make you think, like, what potential impact these guys could have had on the Cavaliers in the finals. And it's just such a fun what-if scenario to think about. If those guys were still on the Cavs, let's say 100% healthy,
Yeah.
how different do you think the series would have turned out?
Oh man, well I feel like a lot of it for the Cavs was their health this year. They all just kind of seemed aging. I mean, Derrick Rose has had problems. Isaiah Thomas just coming off an injury, and like Dwayne Wade is just old. But had those guys been there, I feel like it would have been at least a tougher series for Golden State because it was really just seemed like at times it's 5-on-1 with LeBron being the only one on the Cavs that could really get you a consistent bucket. And a lot of times in the playoffs, it's a superstar dominant like time. So obviously guys like Isaiah Thomas would have helped, like Dwayne Wade. Derrick Rose and Dwayne Wade both helped their teams. I mean they both went home early in the playoffs, but they still had some good minutes, some good games throughout the playoffs. So had they all been together, it would have been
I really wish that. I mean, LeBron in this series was just unbelievable, and I wish he got to have just a little bit more of a chance because I mean he deserves it.
I know, yeah, it's tough going against these 4 All-Stars. Like, the Warriors are too good. They just run you off the court any given night.
Exactly. Now, what advice would you have for anyone who wants to start their own podcast?
Some good advice, I would say just do it. Just start it up. Because every day that you're just sitting around thinking about it is a day wasted of getting followers, man, you know? Just building that audience.
Exactly. Perfect. I mean, if you're going to talk about it with friends anyways, why not put it in the podcast form?
And put a microphone in front of you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Joke around and see where it goes.
Exactly. And so obviously we've had so many great sports events since you started your podcast. You know, the finals, the Stanley Cup, the World Cup. Obviously, there's so much more awesome sporting events coming up in the future. And what are some particular ones you're particularly excited to talk about?
Yeah, in the upcoming weeks. I mean, it's summer, so there's only really like baseball going on. But yeah, we're covering the World Cup. Obviously some golf tournaments, and then probably just doing a couple what if scenarios. You know, just kind of get ourselves in the mood for the football season that's coming up. Basketball, lots to talk about. You got the NBA free agencies coming up too, so it's summer, so it's dry, but we're gonna make it work.
Exactly, and hey, sometimes the most when there's nothing really happening in that particular topic. Sometimes the best stuff can definitely come up. Just random topics, random kind of conversations, arguments.
Exactly. Yeah, we talk about movies too. All the movies that are coming out. I'm sure you know.
Oh, so many good ones.
So many good ones, man.
What's been your favorite movie of the summer so far, or the year? Have you seen any that you really liked?
Over the summer, yeah, I saw some good ones. I saw Upgrade. I like that one.
I gotta get out and see that one.
That's a good one. And then this past weekend, I saw Jurassic Park. Yeah, Jurassic World.
What are your spoiler-free thoughts on the film?
Spoiler-free. I thought it was good. I thought they did a good job making it. It had some funny parts. Chris Pratt was great in it.
Oh, you cannot go wrong with Christopher Pratt.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't go wrong. And it was a good movie. All in all, I liked it.
Now, last question in regards to the podcast. So let's say it's you and your co-hosts. And you could have 3 other people on the show. Anyone. What would be your dream panel to have on the show? In regards to let's keep it sports related. So anyone who's who would you want to talk sports with?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would probably have to say, Michael Jordan, for sure. That's a good one. And then 2 others. Maybe give me a Dan Marino, the Miami Dolphins. And rounding that out, I would have to say like a Kareem.
Oh, Kareem
Abdul-Jabbar.
He had good stories about the NBA.
He would have something. He's been around for pretty much the entire time it's been around. So yeah, I feel like those 3 would be a great conversation to have about sports and everything, just life in general.
Hey, you heard it here first, Jake. One day it's gonna happen with Michael Jordan, Kareem, and Dan. It's going to be their podcast right there.
That's going to be a crazy experience.
Now, on this show, there's a totally random segment that I've done on every single show so far. It's very random, and it has to do with the hobby of bird watching. And I'm going to ask you advice in regards to So my favorite type of bird in the whole world are blue jays. I love them. I think they're so cool. And I've actually, one of my life goals is to take like a really like high quality photo of one. What is your advice for spotting a blue jay and photographing one?
Um, Spotting one, I would say just keep your head on a swivel, and if
That's
you're
the way to
trying to
do
get
it.
that, if you're trying to get a good picture, so just gotta build trust with it, and then befriend it, and then you're gonna get that perfect picture.
Oh, perfect. I like that interpretation. Be friends with the blue jay. Become one with nature.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Jake, for being on the show. I had a great time talking about the podcast and Jurassic World and sports. And definitely everyone go check out Jake's show, The Jake Gatz Show. It is on iTunes. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the show before we end this show?
Uh, no, just yeah, follow us on Twitter at the Jake Gatz Show, and give us that subscribe to us on iTunes.
Perfect. We'll
Joe,
put
thanks
those
a lot, man.
links. We'll put that link right below. Thank you so much, Jake. And it was a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and have a great night.
Take care.